Hi, welcome to Comic Talk. I'm Josh.
And I will survive.
You will, I hope. At least to
As
the end
long
of the
as,
video.
as long as I know how to love, I know I'll stay alive.
Yeah.
I got all my fucks to give, or how does the rest of the song go?
Does it matter? Does anybody know any of the rest of it?
Leave us a comment below.
This is our weekly pull list review for February 24th. All right, this week we are looking at 5 titles. 5. Good job, Drew. He knows his numbers up to 5. We have Ringside, number 4. Bloodshot Reborn, number 11. So we got Karnak, number 2. Finally, after months.
Friggin' finally.
Forever. How dare this guy have personal problems in his life happen? I'm trying to read comic books. We have Daredevil, number 4. And we got Astonishing Ant-Man, number 5. So we're going to start off talking about Ringside. This is from Image Comics. This is Keating, Barber, Go, and Mar.
So we get a good bit of character drama, and then shit gets pretty real with the people that he's been looking for.
Yeah, again, as has happened with pretty much every issue of this, it really quickly turns. Each time you think you know what's going to happen next, it turns on you and does something else, and it does it.
Yeah, they did it like twice this issue.
Yeah, it did it twice. I wasn't sure what was going on for that first section. Were you?
It was the guy that was helping the blonde, long-haired guy with the boxes. Yeah, so he's like his little wrestling protege guy, but he's working security in the daytime, and it was part of his life.
I couldn't figure it out. Was that before, and then we jump back forward in time, or is that just what he does during the day? I don't know either. It's really just, it continues to be a nice little character drama with some interesting turns. Mm-hmm. The art still seems like it's a little weak. Like, I can't help but feel like the artist is being lazy.
I feel like it's gained maybe a half a point out of 10 since the first issue, but it continues to be a little bit of a letdown. And there's no reason for it to be a letdown.
Right. I mean,
like, why?
Are these guys doing anything else? I don't know. Maybe he's really busy, but
yeah,
I don't think so.
Stylistic choice to make everybody seem dumpy and plain.
yeah. This seems like one of those arguments where, like, yo, man, that's my style, but it's like your style is just you don't try very hard. That's not a style. That's the best you can do, right? So just admit it. That's the best you can do.
Sure. I know you can do better because the cover's always better.
Right, the cover's better, and it's art. Like, just spend more time, right? It's not that...
Just put more fucking lines, bro.
I mean, I hate to be such a dick about it, but it really is just like, do more. Like, you just go back over it again. That's how art works. It's not like a live performance in music where, like, you get one shot at it. You sit there all day and you just fucking draw.
Yeah,
like,
you can erase.
Yeah.
Story, though, I thought was pretty strong. And I thought it was cool that we get a scene with a soon-to-be gay couple, I guess. Mm-hmm. And we've seen lesbians in comic books, but we haven't seen like a gay couple yet. So I think it's kind of pushing a little bit of boundaries there, which I'm kind of impressed with.
Well, I mean, there's Midnighter. Well, that comes to mind. That's a pretty good title at DC. But, I mean, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, we've had like 30 lesbian couples.
Right. Yeah. It doesn't happen
Fucking
very much.
Everybody's a lesbian in comics these days. Comics are 14-year-old circa 2002.
Yeah. I actually thought that was pretty refreshing. It was cool to see.
And again, wasn't expecting it, but it was cool.
But I agree. The writing is really tight. It's really cleverly put together. Mm-hmm. And even though the art almost turns me off on the book, the writing makes up for it enough that I continue to want to read it each month. And I'm pretty excited to pick it up when it comes out.
Yeah. It's pretty tough on that with the whole like voting with your dollars thing, because it's like I don't want to vote for the artist, but I really want to vote for the writer, but I can't choose. So.
Right. And again, like we've said in the past, I don't feel like the art takes away from the book. It just doesn't add anything. It doesn't give me anything to really bite into artistically.
Well, I mean, there is the point, though, that you didn't make the connection between the guy in like the first few scenes and like him later on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you're right. It actually did take away this time for the first time, probably.
Yeah. Just quit fucking up, dude. Just try harder.
Yeah, try harder, bro.
Get a better artist.
Yeah, just fucking get rid of this guy.
Yeah, fire his ass.
I hate to say that, but just get rid of him. Get somebody else on this, and it would be an incredible book.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about Bloodshot Reborn number 11. This is Lemire, LaRosa, and Reber.
So in the beginning, we get some heavy continuity stuff within the Valiant universe. And then we get a bit of tragedy, and then we get another new status quo. Most of which I think is awesome. So why don't we kind of like work our way down? Well, let's start it with the art because that's easy. It's awesome, in my opinion. It's almost like a digital impressionist painting. If you were to hold it quite a bit in front of you and look at it, it would probably look like the super clean, like, you know, super shiny digital. But then when you get close to it, you realize there's a lot of like shading in there and just like little things that you usually attribute to like paintings and stuff like that, like the way in which it's shaded, which I think is awesome.
The fact that it's on this really good cardstock or paper stock helps the art pop even more. There was even this weird thing in the middle where it was just sort of like a pattern, like a blank page, just so you could get the proper, there was like a 2-page spread that was next, and the timing wasn't right, so they just put this
black and
blank
some dots
page where maybe DC or Marvel, another big book, they might have thrown a full-page ad there to fix it.
Nick Lachey.
Here, instead of doing that, they just did that neat pattern. Even that pattern, I looked at that like, oh, that's really cool looking.
Yeah. All right, so in the beginning, how long did it take you to understand what was happening, like in the first sequence?
I got the general idea. That's about it, really.
Right.
It took until the actual stuff was overtaking him, or everybody had been gotten, and he's jumping into the sewer for me to realize that it's like an actual cloud rolling towards them, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah. It took me even like a little bit beyond that, like into some of the dialogue later to be like, okay, so like what the fuck is going on? But I do think it's cool that he seems like he's sort of rising to like the linchpin of the universe status, you know, where like anytime there's something big going on, like, you know, Bloodshot's gonna be like your main go-to for that.
Go-to.
Yeah, so that's cool. He's the Hulk Hogan of Valiant. They put most of their eggs in his basket.
Right, and I think Lemire's doing such a good job with it that it feels like they're just letting him do whatever the fuck he wants, like saying this whole idea of, okay, in 30 years, all of the other heroes from Valiant are all dead, and it's not an Elseworlds title. It's not like some multiversity scheme or Earth 5 or whatever you would get from the other big publishers. You know, it's just like 30 years, all these fuckers are dead.
Yeah.
Pretty bold, and I don't know if that was an editorial choice or if Lemire was just like, I want to do this, and they're like, do it.
Yeah, he seems like their main guy there, so I imagine they give him, I mean, he's got to be there for the creative freedom, you know, and just the opportunity to work with these characters that people haven't seen in a long time. And, so we get a pretty big tragic turn in here, and then a new status quo. So what do you think about having 2 changes to the status quo, drastic changes in 2 issues?
It feels like he must have wanted to tell this story and needed a way to segue into it, so that's why we got the Mad Max thing.
Right.
It's just a fun way to get from A to C, you know? So that's fine, I guess.
Yeah. I was kind of excited for where I felt like it was heading. So at first I was a little bit pissed off when they just changed it. But, I mean, this seems cool, too. So, I mean, I'm not going to stop reading it or anything. But it seems like a little bit of a strange choice. I feel like they probably could have not had a lot of the last issue and still made that transition, and it maybe would have been a little bit cleaner. It's like, we're going to set the scene for this, and we're going to fuck that up again, and then go to that, you know?
Yeah, I think a lot of writers would have just made that a couple pages.
Right.
And probably just started with him on his way back from getting the water, right? And,
right. And then he could, like, monologue, you know, whatever, and then Mad Max people come, and that's that, yeah.
Right. A little bit wordy, but, I mean, it is Lemire, and he likes to do those long, wordy kind of things. So, whatever.
Yeah. All in all, it's good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. All right, let's move on to the Marvel side of things. We have 3 Marvel titles this week. It seems like we've got a lot of Marvel now. Has that happened? Did we somehow, with this all new, all different thing?
We did make a point of picking them up, but we were discussing earlier how we would love to add more DC titles, but there's just not ones that seem interesting or like anything that we would want to do.
Right. Well, and now everything's ending and they're just doing the rebirth. So it seems like maybe it would be good to just for us to trade weight and do some trade reviews of some of the stuff we've missed. Because there is cool stuff like Omega Man and Gotham Academy and
Omega Man's been going on a while though.
right, and it's almost done though. Yeah. And Grayson, Midnighter, Martian Manhunter. There's like a handful of cool things that I think we would enjoy, but we just we didn't get on the boat soon enough, and so we'll probably. I think a lot of those trades are going to come out around the same time, so we'll probably have like a month or two where we're just like DC trades like crazy. So look forward to that when those come out in like 4 years because it's DC, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, so anyhow, let's talk about Karnak. This is Ellis, Cognac, Kanye, Wreck. This is Ellis, Zaffino, Fuso, and Brown.
El de Fuso. So he just kicks some ass and gets some clues. There are long stretches of like no dialogue whatsoever in here. And I thought it was going to bother me, but it really didn't because the art's so fucking cool and it accomplishes everything that it needs to. And just the way that movement and sequences are portrayed, it tells a story within itself. Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool, actually.
I did too. I feel like this is the spiritual successor to what we were getting in Immortal Iron Fist, which is cool to get another book like this, where it's real dark, real sketchy line, heavy kind of work. I can see why they waited for this guy to get back, because this book would not be the same without Zaffino on it. But also just this dark, brooding kind of dude with this weird story, such a weird backstory and strange character. I've never known much about this character, but
he even has a strange power, if you can call it that.
Right.
Like he's just a really good pessimist when it comes down to it. He can see the flaw in everything.
Yeah.
Which manifests itself in pretty cool ways. I mean, not to get like fanboyish about it, but when he just like hits that one part of the building and the whole thing collapses, it's like, oh yeah, he could do something like that. It'd be fucking tight.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like this whole premise of him being an inhuman who has not gone through the mist, but he's still like a super powered character. So it's a clever hook. And just well executed. This had a lot of really great imagery, both like in the art and the writing. Like the poetic imagery that we get from Ellis is all really good.
The dialogue between him and the priest guy or whatever was excellent. Excellent. Yeah. There's a couple panels in there where I was like, I'm going to scan that and put it on my fucking Facebook.
Yeah.
Shit's tight.
Yeah. No, tight's a good way to put it, too. It was actually, like, from a writing perspective, not just like, hey, that shit's tight. Like, it was tightly written as well. Like, it really is tight.
It is tight.
It is tight. The action sequences are all really cool. 95% of it is really clear. There's a few panels like, what happened in that one? But all in all, it's like bam, bam, bam. You know, you see everything, how it's happening.
The art style, again, I think is perfectly in vogue with the way things seem to be trending with like the sketchy styles and the color palettes and everything. Like it's awesome. Yeah,
this is also a really good. This issue is a really good introduction to the character. You could easily just start here. You don't need issue number 1 at all. So if you missed this, you weren't on the boat. Next week when you're at your comic shop, I would say get this. Yeah. I really like this a lot.
Even if you're not familiar with the character, which I wasn't, I would have been fine just jumping in it too. All in all, great book.
All right, well, let's move on to Daredevil number 4. This is Soul, Garney, Suzuka, and Milla.
We get essentially 2 unrelated storylines here. We get one where Daredevil's helping out Captain America. And we get another one where Blind Spot is kind of talking to his mom and stuff.
Yeah, this
family problems.
Yeah, this was in a lot of ways focused on Blind Spot.
Yeah, even the parts with Daredevil. I mean, he was a heavy topic.
Right. Yeah, he's talking with Captain America about it, or Steve Rogers. Sorry, it's white Captain America.
I should have mentioned that as well.
Old Man Rogers.
Yeah, Old Man Rogers.
Old Man Steve.
Old Man America.
But yeah, I really liked where we got into the discussion between Captain America and Daredevil about Blind Spot. I thought that was really deftly written.
Why he liked him and stuff.
Why he wants to be, with him. And I also like that they have Steve Rogers really give the okay on it. In a way, it's got that piss off the right wing of America kind of vibe, with Captain America saying, "Oh, good job on, getting
this immigrant sidekick, you know."
Right, he's like an illegal immigrant, and Captain America's giving him the okay and saying he's what was the word? Admirable, saying he was an admirable person. And I mean, in a way, it feels a little like left-wing influence, but I thought it was well done, and I felt it felt real to the character of Steve Rogers to me to
Sure.
be all for that. But that whole sequence was really good. Everything about Captain America and Daredevil through that whole thing, all the way down to the fun little bits with...
with the bomb? Oh, that was great.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's no problem. Just cut the yellow and green wires. Fuck.
Yeah. Or how much time's left? I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause you can't see the digital screen.
Yeah.
But also the monologue, or not even the internal monologue that he was having about whether or not he's doing the right thing, and all the Catholic guilt coming back, which we haven't had in Daredevil for the entire Wade run. Pretty much got rid of Catholic guilt. It completely removed that from the character.
Which is weird because it's always been such a big part of the character. But I understand why he did it.
Right.
Because it's been a big part of the character.
Right. Eschew that and do something different for a while. But I really did like it coming back. I felt like it feels like Daredevil's back at home again. He's back in Hell's Kitchen. He's got his Catholic guilt back. He's questioning his motives. He wants to know if he's a villain or not. And he needs somebody like Steve to tell him it's okay, right?
And even has guilt for like making Steve forget his identity and stuff. Yeah.
And then we also have the blind spot stuff with Ten Fingers, more specifically with his mother.
She's one of the eights now.
Yeah, which was cool, but also weird. The Fingers thing is just weird to me. It's so like Silver Age comic booky in my mind.
Just giving people extra fingers.
Yeah, what's the logistics of getting extra fingers on your hand? Yeah.
I don't know. Like, where does he get the fingers?
Right? Or do they just...
How does he put them on? I mean, there's a lot of logistical things. Like, you only have so many, like, carpals and metacarpals.
Right. There's, like,
go down your whole, like,
200
fucking...
bones in your hand, right? So...
Right, yeah. And they go all the way, like, down your fucking, like, forearm and shit. So how do you add fucking fingers? And do they have wrist problems? Because, like, there's just a big jumble
probably
of
get,
fucking
like, really
cartilage?
bad carpal tunnel, right?
Yeah.
But, I mean, this is the comic book kind of stuff that I usually get frustrated with people asking, but it just feels out of place in this story that's otherwise, I don't want to say grounded because he's a blind guy who, beats up bad guys, but
Sure,
you know what I mean?
It's as grounded as it can get for, that premise.
Right. Yeah,
it is a bit weird. The Ten Fingers thing has always rubbed me a little bit the wrong way. And not just because of stupid logistical stuff like that. Just it seems silly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it doesn't seem like it needs to be so literal. Like, he could just be 10 fingers and...
I mean, most people have 10 fingers.
Right.
So he should be 20 fingers.
He could be chopping people's fingers off to make them 8 fingers and 6 fingers.
Right, yeah. That would be way more tough.
Yeah, but then you couldn't rise up the ranks. Like, you could only go down, so that'd be a problem.
Well, maybe when you get to, like, thumbs, you've, like, reached the highest level.
Who's the top of this? Exactly. Who's the top in this organization? This guy. No, but otherwise, I like the art here. I like how brought back the coloring is. It's very two-tone and gray. I like the stylistic choices that are made where it's a little bit blocky, but not as much as like Doctor Strange, but somewhere between that and your normal like Marvel House style. I think it's a good choice for this.
Yeah, I was a little bit nervous, when Wade left this, but we've been pretty pleased.
All right, well, let's move on to the last title we have this week. This is Astonishing Ant-Man number 5. Spencer, Rosanas, Boyd, and Quintana. Same team we've had for a long time now.
Yeah. So Hinch gets extra hardcore, and Giant Man needs some training, despite being cool.
As has been the case with this, still in love with this series. For some reason, this series has just a little bit kind of bro-ish.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Bit, yeah.
But it's just so deftly put together and so consistently clever in like a 22-minute sitcom kind of way that I just love it. I really burn through it and enjoy it every time.
Yeah, I don't think we've had a bad issue of this. I think bro-ish is maybe like a good term for some of the humor in it, you know. But I still laugh.
I do
you
too.
know?
Yeah.
So, I don't know if that makes me a bro or not. I don't give a shit.
Maybe like our Midwestern roots, you know.
Right.
We just can't help
Maybe,
it. You
yeah.
know? Yeah, but man, it's just so constantly witty and sharp with its dialogue and the way it plays off of your standard superhero dialogue and just twists and turns the narrative constantly. Like every few panels, you get Scott interjecting a twist or the backwards response that like the everyman would give instead of the superhero response.
Right. Which is another one of the things that I love about this is just that he's like so far removed from like your standard superhero archetype. Like he's constantly fucking up. He fucks up really more than he like does well.
Yeah.
But he does well when it counts.
Does he? Kinda,
yeah.
Yeah, he squeaks by.
Yeah.
Basically. So a lot of the stuff with is his name Raz?
Yeah, Giant Man, whatever.
Raz Mahuri or whatever was awesome. I love this new character. I hope they stick around and keep him. I guess he brought him to Miami, right? So now he gets added to the team.
Yeah, he's like his tech guy, I guess now. Yeah.
Well, I mean, he already has Machine Head or whatever, but
he's got another one.
Yeah.
Well, he's the one in the superhero lair,
the secret lab.
Yeah, the secret lab thing.
But we had some really great stuff where, like, just a couple of specific examples. When he's talking about Giant Man and how he's doing, and she says, "Oh, he like destroyed the Golden Gate Bridge," and it's like the third most watched thing on YouTube, right? There was that whole exchange.
He's like, I think that's more commentary on society than anything. But...
Right. Yeah. It's more a problem with everybody else, which I think distills down the Ant-Man archetype of the character, which is why I brought it up, because he's consistently is kind of that way where, you know, everything happens around him. Occasionally he'll admit that it's his fault, but most of the time it's just like, that's just the way the world works, right? Everything.
There's nothing I possibly could have done to prevent this.
Yes. Yeah. You know, it's always it's just reality is just that way for him, which is so great because there's so many other heroes where things work fine.
Yeah.
Right? So you know from the perspective of the rest of the universe reading other books that it's him.
Yeah.
Right? It's completely him.
Not to mention, I mean, when you get into like again Daredevil and everything, everything is his fault, you know. And Batman's the same way. Like everything is like his responsibility. Like every fucking decision that every human being on the face of planet Earth makes is their fucking problem.
Right.
And he's just like, there's whatever.
Yeah. I did my best. Okay. I don't know what else you want from me.
I was there.
I shrink, man. I shrink. What do you want?
Yeah. Oh, and also when he's like commending him on his training and whatever, he's like, yeah, I think you're ready. And he's like, dude, we've been doing this for like 20 minutes. Right.
Which again, it's another one I was going to put down because it's so indicative of this whole series where his idea of hard work and like really moving forward is spending 20 minutes practicing, you know.
Yeah.
What with any other character would have, you know, this montage would have supposed to have represented like days and days of work, and for him it's 20 minutes or even years. Yeah, for him it's 20 minutes, and like, you're good.
Yeah.
Lastly, we had some good fun, poking some good fun at San Francisco, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
it's
like
a tough market to superhero.
Yeah. Because he disrupted like migratory bird flight things and whatnot.
Right.
Everybody's pissed off at him.
Right. They're going to put together like an environmental council on giants to see how they affect, you know, the culture and the wildlife. All in all, just another great issue. I can't say enough about this. This is one of those. This is another one of those few series that I think are really ripe for folks that don't read a lot of comics or normally don't read superhero stuff. This is another really good one to put in front of those kind of people. So yeah, that's going to wrap it up for us this week. Next Monday, I think we're going to look at Sandman Volume 1. That's something we've talked about here and there for a while.
Yeah, we lied about doing it last week.
Yeah, we were going to do it before, and then we decided not to, I guess.
Yeah.
We're also going to have the monthly review coming up by, I think, the following Monday. That's where we go back and look at everything we read in February. And, you know, we've got, like, Twitter.
Facebook, Twitter.
Handles down there. There's, like, we both have one. So you can choose, like, him or me. or you can do both. You know, if you're feeling froggy,
Facebook, Twitter.
You can jump and do both. Facebook and Twitter and Tumblr and Reddit and all that other stuff. Also, thanks to all the 4chan people who...
Yeah, we're like fucking past 100 subscribers. I was going to mention that.
Yeah.
Because I was going to like make a deal about it, like when we got to 100. But then we shot from like the high 80s to like 125 in like 2 days.
Right.
So, yeah, that was fucking rad. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for watching. And I wish you guys would comment below, because 4chan is kind of a pain in the ass. Like, it's cool. You guys are cool. But it's hard to keep up with. Like, we're busy people and we do this and work and life and all that kind of stuff. So leave us some comments here so we make sure and see it, you know. We saw there that there was some interesting... You guys had some interesting stuff to say that we almost missed. So please leave comments here so we can get that feedback.
I actually did quite a bit of investigating to figure out like where the traffic actually came from.
So, it took like
Help us out, man.
we like took work and stuff.
I know, like 20 minutes. We could have had a full fucking montage.
Right. Yeah, we could have trained to be a superhero. So yeah, thanks for that. Appreciate it, and thanks everybody who's subscribed and been watching. 100's a big deal to us.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, cool stuff. Thanks a lot. Bye now.
Later.